have a video today I think you'll all enjoy. It's going to involve headlights. So today I'm going to show you how to open up your factory headlights so you can paint the housings, do a retrofit, add halo rings, whatever the case may be. You're going to need to know how to open up the headlights to do all the work inside of it. So today I'll be working with this headlight here. It's from an 04 Acura TL. Got it from a local U-Pull-It yard. Got it because I want the projector out of it right there for just a future retrofit. Here lately I've kind of been hoarding some of these factory projectors. Got a couple of TSX sets up there, just a small set, maybe do some fog lights. Over here, as you'll see, a little sneak peek to a future video where I've actually started a retrofit for one of my cars. But going back over here, I'm also going to show you how to restore your factory headlight lenses. As you can see in this case, the lens is super beat up, super foggy, but I think we can make a vast improvement on that. However, first thing we need to do before we really start getting deep into this is take off as much as we can from the factory headlight. Maybe not these clips, but definitely the bulbs, the ballast, all this wiring, and whatever we can remove in here. Any kind of bulbs you definitely want to remove for sure. And then we got to clean it. Cleaning may not make sense right now, but it'll definitely become more evident here shortly. So for now, let's start disassembling this. Real quickly, just want to show you in case you ever run into this type screw here. It's called a security bolt because it's got that little round part right there in the middle that doesn't allow you to use a standard Torx bit to get to it. However, if you're in a pinch and need to remove one of these and you don't have a security set, you can try to search around for the right size flathead. And what you can do is you can wedge it in to, I guess you'll call them the teeth, and push down really hard as you turn, and you can remove those type screws. Anyways, just a little tip wanted to show you as I was looking around this headlight to see what we had to do. Alright, so this is the pile of junk I removed off there. Got the main HID bulb, HID ballast. This is just like the high beam, I believe. And turn signal, just a cap, just a bracket. But anything you can easily remove. Now in here, I chose to leave this little bracket or retainer that holds in the bulb. It's made out of metal, so the heat we're going to use won't really affect it. I could probably get this little wiring harness out, but it should be okay as well. If it's easy to get out, which it's way up in there, so I'll probably avoid it. It'll be fine, but you definitely want to get the ballast off there. Don't want too much heat into it if you don't have to. So next step, definitely to clean this yucky thing. I mean, it's nasty.
But if this brings you just a little closer to those men who are going into the hottest spots, I hope that it will help you to do a better job.
Alright, so as you can see, gave the headlight a quick scrub down. I by no means did a perfect job, still a lot of dirt in here. If this was your personal headlight you're going to be reusing, I'd be much more inclined to give it a proper and thorough deep clean, especially if you're reinstalling it in the car. I'm simply using this headlight as a test piece, robbing it of its projector. I have no intention of using this headlight, so I didn't really care, but it is definitely much cleaner than it was. Now, the reason being is because we're going to be throwing it in the oven. So once the oven heats up, you do not want all that dirt kind of baking into the things inside the oven. You know, it's just kind of proper etiquette to have clean things going in there, even though this is not. Also, I might want to mention you may want to get your wife's approval before you do something like this. Also, as you see, I have it on a towel protecting the countertop, you know, so take all precautions when dealing with your wife. Now, to open these, what we're going to do first is get our rack set, obviously before we start preheating it, because by that point it's too late. Now, just somewhere where the headlight's going to kind of hover there in the center. With this headlight being as big as it is, I'm actually going to do a quick test fit. And it looks like it will just make it in there, which is fine. That's all we need. So now, oven rack's in the middle there. We want to set the oven to 225. That's what I've always used. Never had a problem with it. We're going to do it for 225 for about 10 to 12 minutes. Always had good luck with that. So let the oven preheat. Once it gets warmed up, I'll set the headlight in there, set the timer for 10 minutes. When that's done, I'll turn you guys back on and you can watch me crack it open. Alright, we're still actually waiting for the oven to preheat. However, I forgot to mention a couple important things. When you start this, or at least when you remove the headlight from the oven, you want to have a couple of things handy. You want to have some gloves, or I've even used oven mitts. Again, wife's permission, guys. No dog houses for us, okay? So, preferably some gloves you don't mind getting messed up, because this glue can sometimes get on whatever clothes you're wearing, or especially your hands. Another thing is a flathead screwdriver. Reason being, see all these little locking tabs here? They're really stiff right now, but once the light is heated up and pulled out of the oven, these will become really flexible, and we need to make sure we get under there with a flathead and pry these up and over. They're going to be all around the headlight. So this will not separate unless we do that. Now, on some headlights there are some, like usually silver locking clips that go from here up and over and snap as well. If your headlights have those, which these do not, you also need to remove those prior to baking in the oven. So, still waiting. As soon as this oven heats up, we'll throw it in there and we'll get this job complete.
Better job.
Nice and separated. As you can see, there's a lot of glue left on the edge. I personally leave this because when it comes to resealing, all you got to do is squish the two halves together, place it back in the oven, and reheat it. And then when it comes out of the oven, squeeze it together and fold all of these locking tabs back down. That's usually enough to work. However, if you don't feel comfortable, you can scrape all of this off and apply a new bead of sealant all the way around and redo it that way. But again, I'm not resealing these, just cracked them open to salvage this guy here. So that's it for taking it apart. I'll probably take you guys along just removing this stuff. Alright, I did want to mention that if you want to paint the chrome inside this headlight, the housing part, now's the time where you actually take that off. Usually they're attached to the lens itself rather than all of this. And most of the time you'll probably see here, there's a screw here, there's a screw up here, maybe one more, but it's usually just 2 screws, and then this will slide out. So I'll do that for you real quick. As you can see, well, this part is not actually attached, so looks like we just got these 2 mounting points here. Take that out real quick, show you what it looks like. And there you go. I'm gonna try to detach this stuff. As you can see, this is quite loose here already. It's got one little, I'm not sure what you call it, it's like a little ball that snaps in here. I believe that's all this is too. I don't know if you can see it, but right there's a little ball that snaps into this housing. There's one there. There's one way back in there. So gonna pop out those 2, see if we can't remove this thing. What in the world? What is this crap? It's like some kind of big bag of roach repellent, I guess. I don't know. It says Kashika CL. Don't eat. Trust me, wasn't planning on it. Last thing we got is the headlight adjuster screw here. So you access that from the back right here. As you can see, it's got like probably a 10mm head on it, so you can really just put a ratchet on there and loosen it all the way out until the threads are completely out of this here that we're trying to remove. But I wanted to show you a little tip. You can see this little hole right here. That is for a Phillips head. What happens is, especially, let me get you in the light here, especially inside the car, when you can't reach that with a 10mm or something, you can stick a screwdriver in the hole like so, and it threads into there, and then you just turn it like normal. You can see that green stripe slowly rotating around. So this accomplishes the same thing. So I'm going to unthread all that, and we should be able to pull the projector out. Alright, now that's separated. Got 4 screws here on the back side, and take those off. That should give us our projector housing we're looking for.
I hope that it will help you to do a better job.
There she is in all her glory. Lens is actually really dirty, so I could see an improvement. I want to show you all guys a cool little feature. This here on the bottom, this little motor looking thing, is actually the high beam. I call it like a mechanical high beam because it's not just built into the bulb itself. It's actually a shutter inside there that opens. So as you can see here, and you should be able to hear it. Try to show you guys inside here. So this is it closed for low beam and high beam. Low beam, high beam. So that's something to consider when you retrofit these into a car. If you want high beams, you have to wire this up. But it's super simple. It's just got a power and a ground. So obviously ground the black side and put your high beam power to the red wire, and that's it, good to go. Hey guys, this is where I'm going to cut the video. Now we're kind of to a halfway point. In our next video, we'll be going over how to mask and prep this to be painted however you want to, as well as how to restore this lens to the proper clearness, or at least really close. I'm going to go over two different methods of this. One is going to be a sand and buff, and one's going to be a sand and clear. Go over both of those. In the meantime, if you like this video, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Till next time, just wing it.